Public transport fares for adults will go up by 3 to 4 cents per journey. That's from December the 26th. To help vulnerable groups hit harder by the pandemic, concession fare increases will be capped at 1 cent, while prices of monthly passes will remain unchanged. Gwyneth Teo tells us more.
Last year, there was no change in fares for all commuters. I wish we could make a similar announcement this year, but after days of working through the options, we have concluded that it is not possible for current fares to remain the same.
The Public Transport Council is allowing a fare hike of 2.2% in its annual fare review exercise. Part of it is carried over from what was supposed to be a 4.4% increase last year that was put off to help commuters cope with COVID-19. At the same time, the pandemic is also driving up costs for operators, which are sanitising more frequently and deploying more staff on the ground. These measures run up to about $4 million a year for one operator, adding to losses caused by COVID-19. As more people work from home, ridership on buses has fallen 30% and 40% on trains, so operators are earning less. Despite this, they have largely maintained the frequency of such bus and train services for the sake of commuters' convenience. The dramatic drop in ridership since Singapore raised its disease alert levels in February last year should have led to a 60-cent jump in fares based on the fare formula. But PTC says the formula is not made to track sharp fluctuations during such exceptional times and excluded the period from February to December 2020 from calculations. It expects to do the same in the next fare review exercise. It could also relook the way fares are calculated, with the current formula expiring after 2022.
The fact that people stay from home, this does not, of course, mean that people will not travel on public transport for social reasons. That's one assumption that I think we need to consider. There would need to be a relook and a review by the public transport operators themselves, how they can bring in additional revenue, how they can cut down their costs.
To help Singaporeans with the fare adjustments, 600,000 public transport vouchers will be given out, the largest number ever. The qualifying income ceiling will be raised to $1,600, up from $1,200. Each voucher is worth $30. SBS Transit and SMRT will contribute a total of $2.2 million to the Public Transport Fund, which will help pay for the vouchers.
Commuters we spoke with say the fare hike is largely manageable as it's just a few cents. But some say that the increase in public transport costs may hurt those who are struggling financially during this pandemic.
I feel they have been not adjusted for a long time, so it's reasonable to be adjusted.
我们年长的都是有优待啦，做工的人，人现在好像这个疫情，人应该是有影响到。
Increase might seem less, but for the less fortunate people, right, it might be quite a huge amount.
May have to allocate more of my expenses for transport.
One expert says that there's a need to find a new way to manage rising operating costs in the long run, especially with ridership not expected to recover to pre-pandemic levels for some time.
We have to look at the operating costs of the system overall, and if we're running services which are not cost effective, we have to consider reducing or cutting them. By cutting duplicated or underperforming service, it means that overall the pressure to increase fares across the entire system will be smaller.